Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, you're going to learn a melodic etude that reinvents the triplet strum. Now, most of us know what the triplet strum is. It's a strumming technique that looks like this. It's the index finger down, followed by the thumb down, and then the index finger back up. Now, this is usually done as a strumming technique, and that implies that you're going to be brushing across all four strings. But as you heard in the performance video, that's not the case with this tune. If I play a little phrase from the B melody, I want you to listen to how only the first out of the three hits is a strum. The second and the third is a pick. So entirely different, because we are literally transforming it from a strumming technique into a hybrid, a strum followed by a pick and another pick. So super duper cool with that aspect. Furthermore, this song is actually in 6/8, which is a complete departure from what we usually do or what we usually play when we think of the triplet strum, because the triplet strum is usually thought of as playing triplet rhythm in 4/4. So as you work through this tune, you want to think of it like this. You want to be thinking of it as playing 6/8 notes per measure, which sounds and looks like this. If I play through a couple measures, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. Now you may be wondering, why even use this right hand approach to play this tune? And that's actually a really good question, because the truth is you don't. You could use traditional finger picking. So if I was to pluck everything and play those same couple bars, it sounds a little bit like this. Sounds nice, but it's very flat. And if we apply the triplet strum motion to play the tune, it becomes lively, becomes vibrant, has this lush, full sound and a beautiful sustain. Sounds a little bit like this. So a pretty big difference between the first and the second. So we have less expression, much more expression. So that's really the trick and the beauty of using this right hand motion. So I'd highly encourage you to use this right hand motion to perform the etude, and that actually brings up a really good point. This etude is actually part of our brand new course, which is called Triplet Strum Magic. So you can check out the course by clicking that link or going to the site rockclass101.com and doing a search for Triplet Strum Magic. Now, that course has a few prerequisite lessons that's going to set you up for success with learning this etude. So I'd recommend going through the course first before jumping into this etude, which, by the way, the first module, the first 5 lessons of the course are taught 100% free if you sign up for basic membership, which is, of course, 100% free. Now, let's jump into talking about this lesson. So in this video, you're going to be learning the entire song. But if you want to get the tabs to print off and follow along with, you can do so by clicking this link or going to this site, which again is rockclass101.com, and doing a search for Triple Strum Etude. So that's triple without the T at the end. Now, also on that page will be the on-screen tab viewer. Now, this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, you can watch the tab scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset for learning this song that much easier. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Steven to teach you how to play this tune, and then I'll see you at the end of the video.
What's up, guys? So far in module 2 we've looked at the triple strum and the triple pick techniques in isolation. In this unit we're going to combine those two techniques together and look at how we can play entire chord melodies using just the thumb and forefinger in this triple style. Okay, so we're really rising up the magic scale with this one. So grab your ukulele, let's dive in. So for this exercise, Andrew's put together a nice little etude, which is really going to help us practice and perfect these techniques that we've learned so far in module 2. So there are 2 parts to it. We've got an A melody and a B melody, so we'll look at them separately before putting them together, break them down bar by bar and look at how we're going to apply these techniques to this piece. So we're playing this one in 6/8 time. So essentially we're going to have 6 1/8 notes per bar, which we count in 2 groups of 3. So we'll count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now this time signature 6/8 is a lovely little time signature, probably one of my favourites. It gives the music that kind of lilting waltz-like feel, that really rhythmic flow, which is really lovely. And actually this time signature lends itself really well to this technique, this triple technique, which if you think about it kind of makes sense, because if we think about those 2 groups of 3 beats, each group of 3 is just one complete triple sequence or cycle, if you like. So we've got the index down, 1, thumb down, 2, index back up, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. And repeat that again for the second group of 3 beats, and we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this little piece is going to be really good for practicing the right hand, because the rhythm is going to be quite straightforward. We're just going to think for most of the bars of playing just consecutive repeating triple cycles, and that's going to help us really focus on what we're doing with our hands and not having to worry too much about the rhythm. Okay, so let's look at the A melody section first, and we'll start with bar 1. Now, to start bar 1, we're going to start with an index down strum, and we just want to strum these bottom 2 strings open. So we're just playing the 3rd and the 4th strings open to start with, and we just want to strum those 2, just like that. And this is where this right hand position being more parallel to the strings is quite important, because we want to kind of strum across those strings rather than down, so that we can hit that C string but without catching that open E string there. Okay, so we start with that strum of those 2 strings. We then follow with the thumb down by picking the C string or the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, and then the index up will play the 2nd string open. Okay, so that's our first triple sequence there. We've got index down, thumb down, index up. Okay, we're then going to play beat 4 with index down, and we're going to hold most of a G7. You can hold a full G7 here, but we don't need the full chord yet. We're just playing up to the 2nd string. So when I play this, I just put these 2 fingers on for now. So 1st finger, 2nd string, 1st fret, and then the 2nd finger there on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And we just want to play an index down strum up to that E string, the 2nd string. We just want to hear that note there as our melody note. We don't want to hear the A string. So what we could do, we could imagine we're holding the full G7 chord, but we could just rest this finger here on the string rather than fretting it where it would be as part of a G7 chord. If we just have it resting on, so we mute that string so we don't hear it, we can then use the index down to do a full strum across all 4 strings, which is easier rather than trying to stop at that point there. That can be quite tricky to control it to that degree. So we can do a full strum where we don't hear the A string, and this 2nd string at the 1st fret, that rings out as our melody. Okay, so index down to play those, then we'll use the pinky to play the 2nd string at the 3rd fret, and we'll play that with thumb down, and then we'll finish off bar 1 by playing the 1st string open with the index up, just like that. Okay, so beats 4, 5 and 6 of bar 1 would sound like this. Okay, so all of bar 1 together now, we would have just like that. So let's try that together. We'll go quite slowly, even slower than I've just played it there. I'll count in and we'll just play this through together. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, excellent, perfect. So bar 2, we're going to play the same rhythm. We're playing all 6 beats consecutively, so we're playing 2 consecutive triple cycles again, if you like. So we're going to hold a G7 chord to start off bar 2, and we'll do an index down strum of that entire chord. And then we're going to add our pinky onto the first string at the 3rd fret and play that with thumb down. And then we're going to move the pinky up to the 5th fret. The rest of these fingers can come off because we just want to play this single note. So the index up is going to pick 1st string 5th fret. And then we'll use the 2nd finger here because we've got our pinky there. So we'll use our 2nd finger to play the 3rd fret, take the pinky off, and then we're basically holding a C chord there. So we'll use our index down to strum that C chord, and then we're going to play the 1st string at the 2nd fret with the thumb down, and then we're going to play the 1st string open with the index up, just like that. Okay, so that bar would sound like this. There we go. So again, we'll try playing that one together, nice and slow. I'll count in. Start with our G7 shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. So for bar 3, we're going to start with our G7 chord again, just like that. I'm going to play an index down strum of that full chord. Next note, we're going to add the pinky on at the 1st string at the 3rd fret. I'm going to play that with the thumb down. Okay. When we add the pinky, just leave the whole G7 chord on, because when we take the pinky back off, we want to play that note again, that 1st string 2nd fret that we started with, we want to play that again. So the first part of this bar was an index down strum of the G7. We added the pinky to play the 3rd fret with the thumb down, and then we take the pinky back off and play that 2nd fret 1st string with the index up. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to take that 2nd finger off to leave the 1st string open, leaving these 2 fingers on. Play that full chord with an index down, and then add the pinky onto the 2nd string of the 3rd fret this time. Play that with the thumb down, and then take that pinky off to leave the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and play that with the index up. Okay, so that full bar, starting with our G7, would sound like this. Okay, so we'll play that one together. Again, I'll count in, starting with our G7. If I count in, play along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, excellent. So for bar 4, we're going to start with an index down strum of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings open, not the 1st string. We want to avoid that 1st string, so we'll just mute that with our 1st finger there, maybe of the left hand, and do an index down strum of those bottom 3 strings. We're then going to play the 2nd string at the 1st fret with a thumb down, and then the 3rd string at the 2nd fret we'll play with index up, and then we're going to take those fingers off and play just the bottom 2 strings together, 3rd and 4th string with the index down, and then 2nd string open with the thumb, and 3rd string open with the index up. Okay, so that bar 4 altogether would sound like this. Okay, so let's try that one together. We'll go slow again. I'll count in and you play this along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. So let's have a go maybe at playing bars 3 and 4 now together. We'll play just those 2 bars together. So bar 3, we were starting with our G7 chord there. Okay, that's our starting point. So we'll play bar 3 and bar 4 back to back. Again, I'll count in and you play this with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that completes the A melody section's first run through, bars 1 to 4. Once we've played all of that, we then just repeat it again, but the second time we play it when we get to that bar 4, rather than playing those very final 2 notes, the open second string and open third string, we just don't play those 2 notes at the end there. So the second time through we get to bar 4, that becomes bar 5 in your music when you read it. We would have, and then we just let that ring out over beats 5 and 6. Okay, so if we maybe have a go at playing the entire melody A section together, and we'll go from the beginning, we'll play it with the repeat as well. So I'll count in and play along with me nice and slow. Follow my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the B melody section follows pretty much the same rhythm all the way through as the A melody section. So we're going to kick it off with a G7 chord and play that with the index down. And then we're going to pick that first string, which is already being fretted there at the 2nd fret, with the thumb down. And then we're going to pick it again with the index up. So that first little section there, we would have full strum down and then 2 picks of that first string. And then for beat 4 of this first bar of the B melody, we'll do index down again on the G7 chord, but now we'll take off this 3rd finger to open up that first string, leave these 2 on, we'll play that first string open with thumb down, and then use the pinky to fret the 2nd string at the 3rd fret there, and we'll play that with index up. Now we could use a 3rd finger here to play that note, but we want to keep this free for the next shape we're going to play, which is going to be a C chord, but we'll get to that shortly. So we'll use the pinky there so we keep this free, and we'll see why shortly. Okay, so to play that again, that whole bar, we start with our G7. We would have just like that. So we'll try that one together. I'll count in nice and slow. Follow my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Spot on. Okay, then that bar just repeats again. We just play that exactly the same way a second time. So it runs through twice. So the first 2 bars of the B melody, we just have okay. And then from this point here, we're then going to move to the 3rd bar of this B melody section by playing a C chord. So this 3rd finger, which is free here, we're going to drop this onto the 1st string at the 3rd fret and take these fingers off. So just drop that 3rd finger on there to hold our C chord, and then index down strum all the way down that chord. And then the rhythm kind of we're playing here is very similar to the first couple of bars. So again, we play the 1st string at the 3rd fret there of our C chord with thumb down, and then play it again with the index up. Okay, so just that little bit there would be, and then beats 4, 5 and 6 for this bar, we're gonna play that C chord again with the index down, and then drop it down a fret to the 2nd fret, play that with the thumb down, and then open 1st string, take your finger off there and play that with the index up. Okay, so that second part of that bar would be, and then if we combine that with the first part, play that full bar together, we would have okay. So we'll try that one together on my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, like before, that bar then repeats itself again. So we have that played through twice. And then we just repeat back to the beginning of the B melody section. And then we play the G7 sequence twice again. And then we follow that with the C chord sequence once. But then we don't repeat it a second time. For the final bar, play a C chord on beat 1, let that ring over beat 2, and then on beat 3, we're going to play a G7 chord with an index down again. And then straight after on beat 4, back to the C chord with the thumb down, and then let that ring over beats 5 and 6. So that bar on its own would sound like this. Okay, now in terms of the strums that we do here, the C chord at the beginning of this bar we play with index down. When we play the G7 chord on beat 3, we do an index down again. So we're kind of breaking that triple sequence for the first time in this piece. So index down on the C, index down again on the G7, followed by the thumb down for the strum back of the C on beat 4. Just like that. So if we play that just with the bar that precedes it, just to hear them together, we would have... and that completes the B melody section there. Okay, so we'll try playing that through together, the whole thing. Like we did with the A melody, we'll play with the repeat as well. So from the G7 chord, on my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so after the B melody section, we're just going to complete this piece by playing the second run through of the A melody section just once. Okay, so after the B melody section, what we would play to finish it off is just this sequence. And that completes this piece. So practice this one, stick with it. There's no rush at all to be moving on to the next unit. The techniques that we've learned so far are challenging in themselves. You know, the triplet strum and the triplet pick, you know, these are new techniques, they're difficult. To combine them together into this piece might take you a while to master, and that's okay. There is absolutely no rush at all. So stick with it, take it slow, bar by bar, even triple sequence by triple sequence. Just play one at a time until it feels good, till it's flowing, till it feels smooth. But as you start to master it, it'll feel quite rewarding. You know, you'll feel that triple sequence becoming more fluid. Your right hand will start to look almost ballet-ic as it just effortlessly flows through these repeating triple sequences. Okay, and as you progress with this and master it, it's certainly appropriate in the first instance to be thinking about this from a very mechanical point of view. Just learn the kind of frets and where to put your fingers and what to do with the right hand. But as you start to master it, maybe have a think about how we want this to sound musically. Now, with a piece in 6/8 time, as this is, generally speaking, we want to try and emphasize beats 1 and 4. And that's what gives us this kind of waltz-like rhythm. So rather than just a kind of mechanical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the bar, if we emphasize beats 1 and 4, we get this more kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that gives us this rhythmic flow that we're looking for. So as you start to master this piece, maybe think about trying to express that in your playing as well. Okay, so when you're ready, when you're happy with this and you've mastered this and you're feeling good, come over to the next unit where we'll apply our right hand techniques that we've learned to a very well-known piece of music.
All right, guys, so this lesson was a ton of fun. It's not a super hard song to play, and it's very catchy, it's very melodic, but the big takeaway was the right hand technique. Using that triple strum and the triple pick approach for playing is just an incredible way to create such a beautiful, sustained, highly rhythmic, a very lush sounding performance. Just super duper cool technique to add to your playing repertoire. So I do want to remind you that this etude was part of our brand new course, which is called Triplet Strum Magic. So I'll put a link in the description box below. Do check out the course if you haven't yet, because it actually takes you even further into what you can do with this technique. So this is a bit of, how do you say, the tip of the iceberg in what you can do. And also I do want to remind you too, if you want to get the tabs for this lesson, then you can do so by clicking this link or going to the site rockclass101.com and doing a search for Triple Strum Etude. Don't forget to, on that page is the really cool interactive on-screen tab viewer, so you can highlight bars, loop sections, slow it down to any speed, all that fun jazz. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.